This is Out of the Box with your host, Jonathan Clark. Out of the Box, Sunday nights at 9 on Q1043.
Welcome back. We are joined in the studio by the Grammy-winning and the multiple award-winning Mumford & Sons, or at least half of them. We have Marcus and Winston. What's up, guys?
Hi, Jonathan. How are we?
Very good.
Nice to see you again.
How are you? You look great.
It was 3 years ago in this very room that we
Yes.
were lost together.
And as a matter of fact, we were talking about cigarettes and Bob Dylan
Okay, I can't remember this conversation.
and
What
the
were we saying?
Grammys.
Oh, and walking past him and washing my hands.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
no, you were saying like he had a pack of cigarettes on the table ready to use, but he never used them.
Yeah, and an open box of matches.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
He's a
let's
cool
get to
dude.
it. Let's
Badass.
get to it. New album, Delta, coming out November 16th. 60-date worldwide arena tour being announced shortly. That will include a stop at the world's most famous arena, a place right up the street known as Madison Square Garden. And I can't believe it. You guys haven't played there?
We've never played there.
Have you jammed there? Have you jumped on stage?
No, we haven't jumped on stage. I've watched a lot of ice hockey and a lot of basketball and plenty of bands there.
Yeah.
Right.
I went to 2 of Radiohead's 4 nights there.
Okay.
And it's a sacred room.
It is.
It's a sacred. We just saw U2 there recently.
I went to one of those.
And it's been on the list for a long time.
Of course.
And we've played lots of places, other places in New York. And it was time to do MSG.
Well, what I hear is if you haven't played there, it's kind of cool when you're walking down the hallways and you see the photos of Frank Sinatra and
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali,
Yeah.
the Rolling Stones, etc. Well, we're looking forward to that December 10th.
Cannot wait.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we're going to reach Billy Joel's record.
How many nights did he do?
He's just done 100.
Not this
100
year.
nights.
Not this year.
Not this year. He just
100
played
nights
there.
total in his lifetime.
He
He's
is
done
the
100
franchise. They call him the franchise. He plays there every month until he doesn't want to anymore.
It's unbelievable that.
Yeah. So the new album, Delta, assuming it's not a Delta blues album.
It's not. No, it's our 4th album. It's the 4th letter of the Greek and phonetic alphabets. That's where the idea started, and then we sort of started buying into the idea that we'd come into the studio with like 35 songs. It felt like quite a prolific or fertile time, and Delta
35 is fairly fertile.
Yeah, it was a fertile time, and well, there's lots of other reasons we called it that, but yeah, it's coming.
We're going to play the new song Guiding Light here in just a second. By the way, congratulations. I think every station in America is playing that song. Perhaps as we speak even. So this new album, you've picked up the acoustic instruments again, but they have turned into different sounds.
Yeah, well,
Right?
we felt, having done Wild of Mine and getting to play the electric instruments that we felt a little deprived of touring the first 2 albums, now we feel at a place where we can play anything and we're excited to play everything. And tie into that, Paul Etworth, our producer, was encouraging us to try and use those instruments and make them sound not like those instruments. So that opened a whole new world, like particularly for me in the banjo.
Right.
Certainly on our first 2 albums, I felt like I don't know what I can do that's new on the banjo. I've pushed myself pretty much. I'm not a particularly good banjo player, but with Paul, there's one track on this record which has got 7 banjos layered on top with
Oh my
reverb.
God.
Sounds like a living nightmare.
For some people, I think a couple of that's
Robert Plant's great gag when we first met him at Telluride, he said, "Oh, what's the plural? What's the proper noun for multiple banjos? I think it's a massacre of banjos."
No, it was a misery.
A misery, like a murder of ravens.
So now do you have like the Edge, like guitar effects rack in front of you on stage?
Well, actually,
Like,
I mean, I don't know how we're going to do this. I mean, we're going to have to get some extra banjo
Turns
players
out,
on
if you
stage.
sidechain a banjo and put it down 2 octaves, it doesn't sound that much like a banjo, but it also doesn't sound like that much you've ever heard before.
right, yeah.
So it's been really fun, man. We've had a lot. We've had more fun in the studio than we've ever had, and it has felt creatively very free.
I have these dreams where I'm on the radio station and all of a sudden the music ends and I can't get to the board to start another song. And DJs have this dream.
So I dreamt
It's called
last
dead
night.
air. What
Yeah.
you guys have recurring
So
dreams?
That's like a naked
I dreamt
on
last
stage
night
stream, right?
that because we're mastering the record tonight and we have to hand it in tomorrow. That's our deadline, and deadlines are helpful. I dreamt last night that I showed up to the studio today, and the lads had invited loads of people that we'd never met before to come and sing on the record and kind of replace all of my vocals. And I was like, lads, like, I can understand where you're coming from, but I've tried my hardest here, and if I don't sing any of the words, then I guess I'm not the singer anymore. Maybe that's fine. Maybe
That is horrible.
That was my dream.
My God. Winston, anything crazy like that?
Well, funny enough, Marcus, you've very great in bringing people into the studio. You're particularly, I mean, we have that attitude within the band of collaborating, and the band's founded on that ethos, but you're always bringing, sometimes I'm like, don't you want to do the rap on this one? Why are you bringing this guy in?
Yeah. Winston really backs himself in the falsetto range. And we got Yebba and Maggie Rogers in on this record to come and sing.
Nice.
And it sounds different to Winston in your falsetto. I'm not saying that it sounds better or worse. Just different.
Wow. We're with Mumford & Sons in the studio. Okay, really quick. Google's most asked questions about Mumford & Sons. Are you ready?
No.
Why do Mumford & Sons sound Irish? This is not me asking the question. You know when you go to Google and you start typing something, and then the answers start appearing right under you. So that's one of them.
We love... Well, we play... The Irish love those instruments that we play, and we love those instruments. It's Celtic. It's derived from Celtic... music lineage, I guess, and it's not that far away from where we were brought up. And
I don't think it's as sophisticated as that. Personally, I got in a taxi last night in New York City. I said, "Hello, mate," and he went, "Oh, where are you from? Ireland?"
Oh man,
I think that's why it is.
Here's another one. Why was Mumford at the royal wedding? Not me. Again, not me asking.
Oh yeah, because I was honoured enough to be invited. With my wife, because Prince Harry is a friend of ours and one of the more hardworking people I know.
Very good. Why are Mumford & Sons so popular?
Because we're blondie brilliant.
How painful is a Mumford procedure? You know what that is?
No.
It's a surgical procedure on your shoulder.
My grandfather was a surgeon.
Really?
Well, he was a doctor, and then he was a surgeon in the war, and then he was a doctor again. And he had to perform some pretty mad stuff in like the 30s in the East End of London, and talked about having to deliver babies sometimes. He always talked about the magic of that, but sometimes it would get pretty gnarly, and he was just in a house and having to do it. And that sounded quite intense. Nothing to do with the question, but just a bit of trivia for
There
you.
is something called the Mumford procedure, just so you know. Beatles or Stones? You got to pick one.
Beatles.
It's definitely Beatles for me, but I love the Stones dearly. Let's not write them off.
Bob Dylan or Bruce Springsteen?
Leonard Cohen.
I got to have both, man. I can't live without one of them.
Okay, this might be easier. Gibson or Martin?
Ooh.
Do you have endorsements? Should we have
No,
to worry about
I'll go
don't,
Gibson on for me because I love that. I've
just bought a 335 that I'm very excited about. But
you have the best job.
But and I've been playing a Collings acoustic guitar. I record mostly on a Collings.
Okay.
From Austin, Texas, and they are wonderful instruments.
So a vintage Martin or a hummingbird or a dove. You got to take one.
Martin. Yeah. When it comes to acoustic guitars, I'd say Martin.
I love Martins. They're stunning.
It's Marcus and Winston from Mumford & Sons. The new album, Delta, coming out November 16th. Everyone go out and buy it. See them in Madison Square Garden December 10th. Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It's great to see you. Thank you.
This is Out of the Box with your host, Jonathan Clark. Out of the Box, Sunday nights at 9 on Q1043.